Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to show you how to install K-Series heavy duty selector springs. So this is a relatively fast job, but probably only take you about 10-20 minutes depending on what you have to take off. On here there's nothing in front of it, like we don't have cables, we don't have anything else connected, so it should be relatively quick. This will probably only take us, I don't know, 10 minutes if that, 5 minutes maybe. But normally you'll have cables that are like connected over there, so it might take you a little bit longer. So this is probably one of the easiest, cheapest things you can install along with the tent springs, which if you haven't already seen, I'll link to the video above. These are incredibly cheap, easy to install, and they just improve shifting no end, so well worth the money. So the advantage of going with aftermarket heavier duty springs like these is that they are 400% stiffer. So these springs help the shifter go back into the central position much faster than the stock springs would. Anyway, let's move on to the tools you're going to need for the job. You're going to need a torque wrench, Honda Bond, the gear selector springs, whether it's Speed Factory, Hybrid or any of the other brands that are available, ratchet, 10mm and a 12mm socket, and also an extension potentially, depending on if you have to get around anything or not. So I would always recommend Honda Bond for this. It's specifically made for this job and it's non-acidic, so it won't corrode aluminium like other liquid gaskets in the market. Honda uses this from factory, so it's designed to be used for this specific gearbox. I wouldn't use anything else, to be honest. For the gear selector springs, we are using Speed Factory in here because they're 400% stiffer, but Hybrid and Acuity also have very good options here. It would mainly depend on availability and price when looking for the product. It doesn't really matter which one you go with. Like I said, the only reason we've gone with Speed Factory is because we had it on the shelf and it was easy and quick for this video. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff and install the selector springs. One thing I did actually forget to mention, you're going to need an 8mm Allen key for the side down here in a minute. I completely forgot to mention this, so I just thought I'd get out of the way before we carry on with the video. So the first parts you're going to want to remove are the 4 bolts that are on top of here. There's 2 down here, and there's also 2 up here. So you need to remove the top 4 10mm bolts holding the housing to the gearbox. You can easily reach 3 of these with a ratchet and extension, but for the last one you might need to remove the shifter arm. You can move this back and forth. This bolt actually is directly through the centre of that. So if you can see there, the bolt is actually directly through the centre of the shifter arm. If you move it into the correct position, you can get the bolt with the ratchet. So the first thing you need to do are remove these 4 10mm bolts. So you can see here, these bolts are actually different lengths, so just double check that you have the correct bolt and keep them separate just to make sure you can put them back in the correct hole. So once you've removed all the 4 10mm bolts, you're going to want to remove the Allen key bolt on the side of the housing. This bolt will actually prevent the housing from moving, so you can't take anything else out without undoing it. So that is the bolt that you're going to want to remove from the side, and then the whole shift housing should come out. So if this gets incredibly stubborn, use a flathead just to put it underneath to wedge it. It should come out nice and easily. So using the 12mm socket, remove the bolt holding the housing together. This one here, I actually have to put it in a vise because it was very, very stubborn. So you might have to do that just to crack it off and completely undo it. So remove the 12mm bolt and the washer, make sure to keep them separate so they can get back together in a minute. Now you're going to want to remove this entire housing and just keep the springs in the centre. I'll move it all out by itself. You can now open our brand new springs. So there's 2 springs in here, one's the centre, one's for the outside. Doesn't really matter which way they go. You can see they've both got flat edges, so go either direction. So just make sure that goes back exactly as you took it off, the exact same way. So you want to remove the old springs. We have that one, we have this one. Keep that washer in there. Get your brand new springs. Put the baby one in first. big one on top, which will locate in the bottom there. There's a little groove at the bottom that the spring sits in. That one sits in there. And then you can put everything back together. So once you put all this back together, you just need to find the correct location for the bolt, and then make sure to tighten it back to, what is the torque setting on this? 23 foot-pounds. So now you need to torque the bolt on the selector mechanism to 23 foot-pounds. So I'm going to quickly set this to 23, which is 23. When you hear that click, you know that it's torqued to the correct spec. Now, you can put this back together. So now you're going to want to use your shiny new Honda Bond on the surface around here. On this video I'm not actually going to put the Honda Bond on though, because this gearbox is being stripped at some point anyway. So it's kind of pointless, but you need to use Honda Bond on there, and also from factory, this plug that goes in the side has a bit of Honda Bond on it as well. As you can probably see there if it will focus. So that has a little bit of Honda Bond on the bolt that goes in the side. It's worth putting a little bit more on and just cleaning that up just to make sure. Okay, so once you've tightened those 4 top bolts, you're going to want to put the Allen key bolt back in. Like I said earlier, you're going to want to just put a little bit more Honda Bond on here. On this one I'm not going to, because like I said a minute ago, we're going to strip the box anyway. But put Honda Bond on there, screw it back in, and then once it is in there, you're going to need to tighten this, or torque, sorry, this Allen key bolt to 29 foot-pounds, and these 4 bolts on the top need to go to 9 foot-pounds each. So I'm just going to quickly do that now. So that is the Allen key bolt torqued, and I'm just going to pull the torque wrench back to 9 foot-pounds, and then we can do the rest of it. So that bolt, that bolt, that bolt and that bolt, all 4 of them need to go to 9 foot-pounds. I'm just going to quickly torque that now, and then we are done. So that is it. That should be everything you need to know about installing the Honda K-Series gear selector springs. If you have any questions or anything, let us know below. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Also, if you need to buy any of these, I'll put the link to the Speed Factory ones that we used here, and we also have hybrid and Acuity on our website, depending on which ones you want, but we always have Speed Factory on the shelf, so we always go to those, and we will catch you on the next video.